What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Process Podcast. I am your host, Kristian DeLuzio, alongside co-host, my brother, Justin DeLuzio.
What's up, guys?
And it is finally upon us, week number 1 in the NFL, and we are going to go through this podcast. Obviously, we're going to talk about week 1 rankings, Ezekiel Elliott, the Buccaneers and Dolphins game is getting moved. I'm going to go through game picks, everything. So stay with us this entire time. We're going through it. And it should be fun. Everyone's, I'm sure, is excited. First, though, website. We now have a website. It is called Rofo Royalty, R-O-F-O Royalty, and it's roforoyalty.wordpress.com. So go to the website. Everything will be logged on there, archived. You can listen to the podcast on there. You can check out the rankings on there. And we're going to go through this podcast, just go through everything. So, again, follow that on Twitter, too. It's at Rofo Royalty. So follow that on Twitter. You'll be up to date when everything gets posted to there. So, let's just get right into it, Just. Ezekiel Elliott, this is a big one because some people took him in the first round. Some people decided they don't want to mess with the suspension. Obviously, it just came out that his suspension was upheld. And basically, to sum it up, it's kind of confusing because there were some reports saying, oh, well, he's not suspended, or he is suspended. So basically, we're going to sum it up. This is from Ian Rappaport, and this is as of Tuesday night at 8:48 p.m. He will play Sunday. Elliott will play this Sunday, week 1. If he gets a restraining order, he could stay on the field this season. If he does not get the restraining order, he will sit for 6 games. So, I mean, right now, Tuesday night, we don't know anything. But hey, if he gets this thing, I mean that's huge for people that rolled the dice on him. And I know you took him.
Yeah, I mean, I took a risk on him. I'm sure a lot of other people did too, just because of how great he was last year. And I mean, not that this ruling didn't provide a little bit more clarity, but nonetheless, we still sit here kind of waiting with the same question in mind: is he suspended or is he going to play? I will say this: it is good to know that based on the tweet you just read from Rappaport, that if he does get it, the phrasing he used is he will stay on the field this season, suggesting that if he does get this restraining order, he may be on the field all year, which I'm sure is extreme. It was exciting for me. I know as an owner of Ezekiel Elliott, and I'm sure it is for a lot of other people, and really the NFL. From a star, people getting to see another star in the league.
Right. I mean, the first game, first Sunday Night Football game is Giants Cowboys.
Yeah.
So and he's going to, regardless, he's going to be on the field. But it's just the impact that he has. If Ezekiel Elliott didn't exist, they might not even have a Sunday Night Football.
Oh no, that game is primarily meant to showcase Odell Beckham and Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and Dak Bryant for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, this is a big next couple days here, and by Friday, I think the ruling has to be for his restraining order. This is a big next couple days here for the people that took him, and not only for those, for the Cowboys too, and the whole NFC East, because they were 13-3 last year, the reigning division champions. This is big news because if they don't have him for 6 games, I mean, that is a giant hole in their offense. Huge. Especially a lot of people thinking that their offensive line has declined a little bit. They don't have Doug Free anymore. Other guys are getting a little bit older, but this is a big week for the Cowboys and all the fantasy owners who have Ezekiel Elliott. If you took him, hopefully you took McFadden or Alfred Morris to have as a backup, because if he is out from weeks 2 to 7 or whatever the 6 games that he's out, I mean that's a huge hole, especially if you took him in the first round and you didn't get a top running back on the way back. You know what I mean? So hopefully you got McFadden because, look, their offensive line's still good, and he's probably going to put up some numbers, McFadden or Alfred Morris, whoever it is. It's still a big loss, though, if you don't have Elliott. But, hey, if he plays, man, I mean, that's a good roll of the dice by whoever took him, because that's huge.
I mean, it's just the way it is, but like you said, we can only, owners as myself, can only hope for the best.
Yeah, I hope he's out. but I didn't take him.
Honestly, from an Eagles fan perspective,
I didn't take him, and from an Eagles fan, I hope he's out.
Of course, you want him out.
You know, I want him out.
Although I have to say, with him in, I would be excited to see somewhat of a rivalry start to brew between.
Yeah, I mean, I think Prescott and Wentz. It's already started.
Yeah.
From last year. It's finally it's getting the juice back, but I still don't. I hope he's out.
Yeah, understandable.
The next thing of topic, the Bucs and Dolphins game. This just kind of came out of nowhere, really. The hurricane is coming up. Hurricane Irma is coming up the coast. It's supposed to hit this weekend, and they already moved the Bucs and Dolphins game to Week 11. So, and the reason, for those of you that don't know, is because both those teams, luckily, have a bye on Week 11. So they were able to move that game. So now they'll have their bye week this week, Week 1, which is really odd.
Yeah.
And this kind of sucks because if you took Jay Ajayi early, if you took Mike Evans, they're not playing Week 1, and that was your first round pick. So, and that's. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but
I mean, it ultimately will equal out in the end.
Yeah, it's going to equal out. And it might be better because everyone's just. I mean, it's just that you're antsy to get these guys and then see them play. But sure. It might be better because Week 11 is right around the corner of the playoffs. So instead of not having those guys that week, you now have them.
Yeah, that's
pending
true.
Injuries or whatever.
Yeah, and sir, you can say fantasy football is somewhat momentum. Of course, you like to have towards the end of as the fantasy playoffs are approaching, you like to see those guys you play more in games that you would consider more important, even though technically, I guess every win in a fantasy regular season is equivalent. But
yeah, it's a week to week thing. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Now you got to plug in some guys for Week 1 that you didn't think that are on your bench that you didn't think were playing. So that's the thing. Like when you draft, most people's drafts are done now. If you have a draft left, and I don't know how you pulled that off, but some people when they get towards their bench, they just kind of zone out at the end of the draft, like, oh, this guy, whatever. But this is just in case this happens. This is what comes up here, and.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of unfortunate.
And there's kind of, like you said, there's kind of pros and cons to having it, like you said, with having it playing the game now versus playing it Week 11. One being that, well, I mean, if they were to play Week 1, who knows? These guys, Jay Ajayi or Mike Evans, could get hurt.
Right.
Meaning if they were to play Week 1, you may have gotten a game out of them.
Right.
Whereas, let's say they get hurt Week 6. And you don't see him the rest of the season. At the same time, you might, as you said, drafting-wise, by the time Week 11 hits, you might have found somebody on the waiver wire or a new starter based on injuries that you could more easily replace in your lineup at that point in time. The same, I think, could be made vice versa because sometimes you lose starters as well. But definitely will affect some people. I think it's just unavoidable. But realistically, that's the game did have to be moved. You saw what happened in Houston, and there's no need to. You have to be.
Oh no, it has to be
prepared.
I mean, it's either put it in a neutral site, but it's too late to do that now. Mm-hmm. It's there's not enough notice. I mean, there could be. I remember a few years ago when that big snowstorm hit Minnesota and the roof collapsed. Yeah. They did move a game. So I think it was a Monday night, or it might have even been a Tuesday night. I have to look that up. I can't remember what it was, but it was weird. It was really odd. But I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it, but it's just the way it is. So hopefully, you got some good backups. If you want to check out the waiver wire, go for it. But you haven't seen anybody, so you don't really know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now, getting into Week 1 here, obviously, every week there's a Thursday game. So the first one here is. Everyone should know Chiefs at the Patriots. This is where I know I'm excited because you get to see Kareem Hunt right away, and I can't wait to see him. I don't know how well he's going to do, but it's just exciting that it's finally here. 2 days it's going to be here, and is there anybody like in this game? Because this is funny because 2 injuries in the Week 3, Edelman and Spencer Ware directly affect this game right away. So with Hunt, Cooks, Hogan, Amendola, all these guys,
mm-hmm.
Gronk, it affects it right away. We're going to start getting into the Week 1 rankings here. We'll start with this game, I guess. It's the first one on the slate. Is there anybody that you think? Let's say if you had Mike Evans or J.J. and maybe someone's on the waiver wire like Chris Hogan, do you think he's worth picking up or no?
I mean, that's certainly a good question. I think the Chiefs have been kind of the same way for the past at least 5 years, or at least since Andy Reid has taken over. They're not much of a fantasy powerhouse. They usually I remember one year they didn't even have a touchdown to the receivers. But granted they're much better than they are then. But I don't see, besides Kareem Hunt. I think Kareem Hunt's owned in 100% of leagues. I would say. I mean, if he's not, he should definitely be on someone's roster, considering he's a starting running back. I wouldn't say that there's anyone that's gonna out of the ordinary that is gonna stand out for the Chiefs, and that's my opinion. Just because Tyreek Hill is in once also kind of the same boat. Like, he's not an under the radar guy anymore. So, other than those guys, I don't really see too much out of the Chiefs. From the Patriots.
Well, Travis Kelce is a guy.
No, I mean, Travis Kelce is a good guy. I thought you were referring to like people who are out of the ordinary, like.
Okay, well, yeah. Then there's not really
of
anybody.
Course,
There's not random guys.
Yeah.
Even all season, really. You don't know what you're going to get Kareem Hunt, but even all season with the Chiefs, the only guy on offense that you legit want is Travis Kelce, and it's tough to tell with Tyreek Hill because you don't know if it's like a Cordell Patterson situation, if it's just like a one-year thing.
He reminds me of Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
He's the same style of player, and he's a great player. And it did translate somewhat to fantasy last year, but we saw what happened with Percy Harvin. It really didn't eventually translate to fantasy, and he's electrifying as a player, but he's not a guy who's going to give you 100 yards a game,
right?
For sure.
Right.
On the Patriots side, Brandon Cooks is I think he's of course he's an absolute start, but I'm not really too sure. I don't have too much of a feel that he's gonna have a big game or anything like that. I'm having difficulty predicting. I know the Patriots, of course, are a 7 point favored, but I think it could be a relatively close game. I don't see a blowout. I don't see anyone going off the charts. How about you?
We'll get to our game picks later, but I guess really, the only guys I don't know. I'm not a big fan of picking up guys off the waiver and playing them week one. You drafted guys not specifically for week one, obviously the whole season, but you did pick guys for week one because it's the first game you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's just natural. I don't know if you got guys on your bench, I would just plug guys in on your bench. If you have someone from Tampa Bay or Miami, I would just put someone on your bench. If you do want to pick someone up and you drafted all rookies and just big time sleepers, I would, if Chris Hogan's available, definitely go get Chris Hogan.
Yeah, I would agree. He has potential.
He's the only player I think I would go after.
That's clearly at least potentially on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Other than the obvious starters. I wouldn't recommend this, but some people may look at like a Dion Lewis or a James White.
Yeah, if you're in a deep league, like 12-person league, and like there's so many rosters, but maybe try one of those guys for the first game. It's so tough to predict that.
And Patriots running backs have been.
Yeah, you gotta. It's like we said last week on the podcast. That's a week to week thing. You don't really know what's gonna happen with that. Well, let's see here. If you can pull the schedule up on your phone in front of you, I'm going to pull mine up, and we're going to kind of go through here. Everybody knows that. Okay, well, he's a top 10 running back coming into the season, but week to week that can change because of the matchup that we're playing. So this is important, especially if you're doing DraftKings. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. You got to look at the matchup. If you're on the fence of somebody, obviously Le'Veon Bell's going to be a start. McCoy's going to be a start. All these guys, all those guys you drafted, Gordon, Howard, they're all going to be must starts. You're not going to ever sit someone, even though it says Matthew Berry says, "Oh, we'll sit him this week." No, you're not going to sit Le'Veon Bell. You're not going to sit Jordan Howard. It's just not going to happen. If you do, then I don't know why you picked him in the first round or second round anyway. But there's guys out there that, in like the Jets and Bills game, Bilal Powell could be ahead of a guy like, let me see here, Leonard Fournette. He could be ahead of Leonard Fournette because you don't know what you're going to get with Leonard Fournette.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And
like, who knows?
He's playing the Texans defense. So Bilal Powell could be ahead in a PPR league because Bilal Powell, in a late game situation, you would assume the Jets are going to be losing, is going to get 5 or 6 catches for no reason, and he's going to just accrue points.
And you know it's going to happen. It happens every year. There's going to be a player who gets way too many points week one. He's not going to be able to keep up that amount of points. We saw it. We always cite the example of Cordarrelle Patterson, who was ranked number 1 after week 1 a couple years ago on the Minnesota Vikings because he had an 84-yard touchdown run. Yeah. But it's not exactly going to translate to the whole season, but realistically, there will be guys that do take lead based on their matchup.
Yeah. Now, we're not going to go through, we're not going to each go through here's my top 10 in order. I mean, we're not going to do that. You know who your top 10 running backs are. You keep that in your mind. You have who you have. If you have McCoy, if you have Bell, if you have Melvin Gordon, they're obviously going to play. You know where you have them ranked. We're going to go through some of the matchups that are some of the guys that are on the weaker side that can kind of sneak into a top 10 or top 15 play this week. That's kind of under the radar that you're not really thinking about. And, if you're in a situation where maybe it's an 8-team league and your lineup is stacked, maybe play this guy over this guy. So I'm going to go through some of these games here, and we're going to look at. We'll start with running back, just because quarterback. We'll do quarterback last. That's an important position, but we'll start running back here. Now, we talked about Bilal Powell a little bit. This one here, the Eagles and Redskins. This is the first one here on my list. Mm-hmm. The Eagles running back situation is very difficult to predict right now. You would assume LeGarrette Blount's going to be in there. Is he a guy you would even want to play this week? Because he's someone that is a starting running back, and last year he finished top 15 in a standard PPR league.
Yeah, for sure.
But do you want to play him?
No, I don't. It seems that the Eagles have, based on chatter and at least some display from the preseason, that the Eagles are in no position to give any one running back a big bulk of the carries. I mean, if you're in a league that's really high on touchdowns, of course LeGarrette Blount could punch it in a couple times maybe, but none of those guys I would say on the Eagles are enough to be a very confident.
Yeah, I think in the long term, I honestly think Wendell Smallwood will emerge as the lead back. I
yeah.
really do. If he can stay on the field, I believe he has the ability to do that, to be the lead back there. It's just pending the injury. Now, on the other side of the Redskins with Rob Kelly, it's been weird because you don't know. They drafted Samaje Perine. He looked pretty good in preseason. Then all of a sudden, Jay Gruden comes out and says, well, Rob Kelly is 100% our starter, which he should be week one. But you just don't know how much he's going to be used. He's a guy I definitely would probably start. I don't think I would bench it. I would probably start if you're not one of those guys that drafts running backs early, and you have Rob Kelly sitting there. I'd probably play the guy. He doesn't catch the ball in the backfield, which is a minus, so he's not going to play too much on third downs. I think P. Ryan's going to be in there a lot. Chris Thompson will be there.
I mean, they just signed Chris Thompson to a big contract extension. Not that means he's going to play more, but it does show that they like him.
It's his role. His role is third down, change of pace back. Late game, if they need to score points and get down the field, they're going to use him instead. So, this is a good matchup with LeGarrette Blount versus Rob Kelly. I'd probably lean towards Rob Kelly.
Of course, I think you have to lean in terms of fantasy. You have to lean towards Rob Kelly. You said the confidence Jay Gruden has shown in him is enough to warrant him a week one start. I mean, we'll see what happens. He benched Alfred, eventually ended up benching Alfred Morris when he took over, and then replaced Matt Jones, who was Alfred Morris's replacement. So his loyalty is a bit so-so on his running backs, but I think you got to go Rob Kelly.
Let's go to the Panthers and 49ers game. So obviously the 49ers, you got Hyde, who looked really good at that one Sunday night. We said this last week. He looked pretty good. Panthers running back situation, McCaffrey or Stewart. Let's say you own both of them. who do you rank higher?
I think you got to put McCaffrey higher just
Over Stewart.
because. Just because of his potential, really. I mean, you would assume that Jonathan Stewart, of course, is going to start the game at running back, and I think you would assume that he's going to get 10 to 15 carries. I would guess 12. But as we always like to joke, Jonathan Stewart type stats is about 12 for 39. So I think McCaffrey, he offers a lot in terms of catching the ball, and you never know. The kid, when he can get on a roll, they're gonna leave him in there. He's young, he's fast, he can really do it all.
Yeah,
And
I think he's gonna get 7, 8. Depending on how hot he's going, maybe 10 carries. Should catch a couple balls out of the backfield, ease him into the NFL game. So I think he's a solid play. I can't imagine if you drafted him, you're not going to play the guy because a lot of people drafted this guy high.
You're not going to get him late, because you're just not going to get him late. His market value is pretty high, even before he played a game. Mm-hmm. I think you have to start him if you drafted him.
Yeah. Okay, Monday Night Football, Saints. This is a good one. Saints and Vikings. Dalvin Cook will start.
Yes.
If he doesn't, I'll be very surprised. Does Latavius Murray being there and Jared McKinnon there lessen his value this first week against a really bad Saints defense?
I mean, no, I don't think it does. This is gonna sound weird to say, is even though they just signed Latavius Murray, I think Jared McKinnon actually even shows a bigger threat to actually not replacing Dalvin Cook, but at least stealing some of his carries.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like a Chris Thompson type.
Yeah,
kind of. He's a little bit better of a runner, but he's more of like that change of pace third down back.
Yeah, but I mean, Dalvin Cook. I think that the general fantasy population has been pretty high on him, and it seems like everyone's starting to come down to earth a little bit in a sense that
the hype is kind of falling off a bit.
Not that he's shown us otherwise, but it's just you're starting to realize he is a rookie. The Minnesota Vikings are
it's just coming back down to reality a little bit. Yeah. No, he could wow us. I mean, but it's just I know what you mean. Same game, Saints now. If you drafted Mark Ingram, maybe you took Adrian Peterson too. If you have both of them, who do you start either one of them?
Oh man,
do you not? Or which one do you play? Let's say you have both of them. Which one would you play?
I think you have to play Mark Ingram because
Peterson.
I mean, Mark Ingram's a starter.
I know you're not. Let's say even if you just had one of them, you're not confident starting.
No, of course not. You can't. I mean, one, it's a high-powered throwing offense. Two, these are two pretty good.
I will say, if Mark Ingram was alone, if Peterson wasn't there, I like Mark Ingram. Start. But the fact that he's there, I just feel like the name of Adrian Peterson is going to spell him a lot. It's going to kill him. Ingram, that is his value, and I don't think he's not going to be used as much as he should, and I think that's going to hurt him a lot. So I think if you're on the fence between like a Mark Ingram or a like Paul Perkins, I'd probably go with Paul Perkins because there's nobody else there besides Wayne Gallman to steal carries, and he's not going to play on third down, Paul Perkins, but he's a legit starting running back, and I'm higher than Paul Perkins.
I know you people are.
I'm higher on Paul Perkins than a lot of people are, but I probably Your face is like, I don't know.
Not okay.
I would start Perkins over Peterson or Ingram.
I know you love Paul Perkins, and I'll give you a sense of that being somewhat justified in this case, only because. Of course, Mark Ingram is much better than Paul Perkins. I think that's pretty obvious.
No, he's better.
Yeah. And I understand because, I mean, Adrian Peterson, they didn't sign Adrian Peterson to just get 5 carries a game. He's going to play.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to play.
Yeah. And yes, that's absolutely going to diminish Mark Ingram's role. And it's unfortunate for fantasy owners because when a full starter, Mark Ingram's a pretty good player. But I personally wouldn't start either of them. Just for safety. If you do have them, I would definitely keep them and see what happens. Of course, anyone can get hurt, especially Adrian Peterson. And you never know what happens in the future.
Here's one that a lot of people might be wrestling with. So these guys might have went around the same area in drafts. Someone very well could have both of these guys. One guy's more likely to be on a bench than the other one. Would you start Isaiah Crowell or Terrence West this week?
See, I mean...
I would say Terrence West is mostly on people's benches.
Oh, yeah. I would say, I mean, at least in the drafts I've been in, and I think for the majority of people, Crowell would have went definitely ahead of Terrence West.
Yeah, I would say in 100% of drafts you went ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the thing. It's just the week to week thing. Like the only thing I'd say you have to discard Crowell. Of course, you have Duke Johnson there, and and of course Terrence West has like 95 running backs with him. No, they have an assembly of backs there, especially Danny Woodhead, who will continue to steal carries anywhere he is. But I think Crowell he's just a more of a full-fledged starter than Terrence West is, in my opinion.
All right, now the Bengals running back situation.
Oh man,
have to ask this because everyone drafted Joe Mixon. He obviously got drafted in every single league. Jeremy Hill, I know for a fact hasn't gotten drafted in every single league because in one of our leagues he didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
If you have Hill, would you play him or no? You assume he's going to start.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do you start him? Do you play him? Or would you rather, like, let's say he's a flex guy, so would you rather play him as in the flex, or would you rather just insert a receiver in a PPR league?
So of course it depends on your team, but that's just a tough call.
Right. Okay. So it would be a third receiver, and it would be your third running back. So Hill, or would you rather play like
that's what I'm saying.
Sammy Watkins or something?
Well, I mean that's what I'm saying is if you have if you have Golden Tate as your third receiver, I might play Golden Tate for sure.
Well, yeah.
Over, but Jeremy Hill. See, I don't love Jeremy Hill at the moment, only because it looks like they've brought in Joe Mixon to kind of take over his role. But it's kind of like the McCaffrey-Stewart kind of thing. It's like.
But then would you start Mixon then over Hill if you had both of them?
I would start Mixon over Hill. I would. He's more.
Mixon's a guy. No, McCaffrey definitely went higher in drafts than Mixon.
Yeah, I would say so for sure.
Probably 85% of them.
Yeah.
Would you? Because you're going to start McCaffrey. Do you have to start Mixon? You think you have to?
No, I don't think he's a have to start. I think he's a little bit lower, even though people probably picked him pretty high.
Yeah,
because like you said, he's not
especially keeper leagues.
Yeah, he's not going to be on anyone's the waiver wire or anything like that. But he's not much of a must start because of one, I do think Jeremy Hill offers a little bit more than Jonathan Stewart does in terms of playing potential, but. And I think McCaffrey, personally, I think he's a little bit more talented. He can catch the ball a lot more than Joe Mixon can, at least from what I've seen and heard. I would still leave Jeremy Hill on the bench, and I would play Mixon over him. But
all right, let's move to receivers. And the rankings will be out by the time you're listening to this podcast. You can go to the website roforoyalty.wordpress.com. You can go there, look at the Week 1 rankings. They'll be compiled in order so you can see how we have it ranked. Receivers now. Obviously, again, the top level guys we're not going to even talk about because you're going to play them regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So mid-level guys, lower guys. I'll give you two here. Which one would you start? Jeremy Maclin or Michael Crabtree?
I would start Michael Crabtree
over Maclin.
I think he's going to get more targets.
Macklin's the one there, I believe.
Well, Baltimore, right? I mean, they have Mike Wallace, who I think is much more of a target, but it's a different. Mike Wallace is kind of more of a deep threat, and Jeremy Macklin's kind of more of a possession type receiver, similar to Kamar Aiken, who's also going to play. I would say Jeremy Macklin's better than Kamar Aiken, but Michael Crabtree. I think if he's not throwing to Amari Cooper,
Kamar Aiken's still there.
I believe he is.
Yeah, he might be. I don't think he is. But, yeah, I see your point. No, he's on the Colts now.
Sure. Okay.
So. Yeah, so you would play Crabtree.
If he's not throwing to Amari Cooper, there's not too many other options.
There's not. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, there's really nothing else there.
And in my opinion, as of right now, I think he's just a better player. I think Jeremy Ackman's a little older, and I don't know.
All right, here's one. Now, these two guys are definitely going to be played this week. I just want to know which one you have ranked higher. Do you have Doug Baldwin ranked higher than T.Y. Hilton? With Scott Tolzien?
That's a good question. I mean, I think without Scott Tolzien and with a healthy Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton for sure, and I think everyone would. But, wow. See,
I would go Doug Baldwin hands down, just because he's playing the Packers.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
That game's over/under is 50.5, so there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game.
And Russell Wilson continues to have less of a run game as his time continues in Seattle, and it just seems like he's going to throw the ball more, and he also doesn't have too many options. He has his Jermaine curses and things like that, but Doug Baldwin's clearly number one option, so I agree with you.
If you have Allen Robinson, would you even play him this week against the Texans?
Ooh, I'm one of those guys I think I called him a slappy a couple weeks ago, and I still kind of feel the same way. Not that it's just like, once again, I don't think he's a horrible player. It's Blake Bortles, and I wouldn't start him unless you really need to.
Unless you have to.
Unless I think there are players that like Allen Robinson has all the potential in the world, but you saw it last year when he's going to have those games and has like 2 catches, and he could have plenty of targets that game, but if Blake Bortles continues to sail it over his head, it's going to be tough.
or throw it short and intercept it.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I wish Allen Robinson was like he had the chance to be like what he was 2 years ago, and hopefully he can, but as of right now, I would say no.
Yeah. Broncos. If you have, let's say for some reason you drafted both Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, just for conversation.
Yeah.
Which one are you more confident playing?
Demaryius Thomas, for sure.
Really? I'm more confident playing Sanders. Just with Paxton Lynch is out now for a few weeks. Trevor Siemian, I don't like Trevor Siemian. I'm never going to like Trevor Siemian. I just think he's more of, okay,
he's a game manager.
Let me find. Sanders got a lot of targets.
He did. He does target Emmanuel Sanders a little bit more. I'd say. I think
I would. If you have Sanders, I would definitely play him because he just, for some reason last year, clicked with Trevor Siemian. I would definitely play him. I mean, I don't know who's drafting him and not playing him. I mean, there could be people out there. If I had him, I definitely would play him though, because he's going to get probably 5 or 6 catches. He's got an opportunity to go for 100 yards because he does run some deep routes. Don't know about any touchdowns, but I like Sanders. I really do.
I think both are healthy options. In terms of which I would go more, I would pick Demaryius Thomas just because I think he is the better receiver.
It's just the name. The name is sexy. It's sexy.
We do know.
Oh, I got Demaryius Thomas.
He is. I mean, Demaryius Thomas. It's to me. I think he's the better player. But of course, I mean, Emmanuel Sanders did outperform him last year with the quarterback that they do have now. And I think you're right in a sense that he definitely was targeted more when Trevor Siemian was in there. So I understand where you're coming from. I'm always confident in playing what I believe is the better player. So
yeah.
I agree, Thomas.
All right. Let's go to the quarterbacks now. We'll go backwards now. We'll do this as the last position here because tight ends are. Yeah. Tight ends is a severe drop off at a certain point, and then it's just kind of you got to get lucky with the tight end. So. We'll leave tight ends out. I'm still going to put the rankings up on the website for the tight ends. You can take a look at them, but just for conversation purposes, we'll just do quarterbacks for right now. With a where's it at? Where's the game? Prescott. If you have Dak Prescott, or let's say you have Dak Prescott, and let's say you have Brian Hoyer. In a regular standard PPR league, no crazy yardage points or anything like that. But would you rather play Prescott, knowing he's going to have Zeke with him,
yes,
or Brian Hoyer, who looks pretty good in Kyle Shanahan's offense right now?
I mean, in a standard league, I think you should go Dak Prescott.
Because with the rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean, he can. Yeah, of course, he can run a little bit. He's good for a rushing touchdown potentially if they're close enough. Like you said, assuming that they do have Ezekiel Elliott, according to Ian Rappaport. I think that only helps Dak Prescott. And Brian Hoyer, he's looked pretty good, and he actually was playing incredible with the Bears last year until he got hurt. But I'm gonna go with what I know at the moment and play Dak Prescott in a standard league.
Yeah, I probably would agree with you there.
He's safe points, I think.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, another quarterback situation here. If you have Carson Wentz. And if you have, where'd it go? Andy Dalton.
See, I'm always going to lean towards Carson Wentz here. I think he's the better. I think he's poised for such a good season. I don't love the Washington's defense.
Bengals kill the Ravens though every time they play them.
The Bengals,
Dalton tears them up.
I know. I do think the Bengals will for sure win that game. I don't think it's going to be that easy of a win, but I do think they'll win. But I don't know. I'm going to go with the hometown. I'm going to lean towards Carson Wentz here.
Yeah, I guess it's
a good matchup though. I mean, if Andy Dalton throws for 330 yards and a couple touchdowns, I'm not going to be surprised.
Now, let's say you had Jameis Winston as your starter, not going to play this week, and for some reason you didn't take a backup quarterback. Which quarterback out there would you go after and pick up?
Who would generally be?
On a waiver wire?
A waiver wire. I think, interestingly, and I would say that this guy's on most waiver wires. Probably not everyone for sure. Is maybe Joe Flacco. I know he's coming off of an injury.
Yeah, he's an under the radar.
But
he sneaks in top 10 sometimes.
And they're playing the Bengals. They don't have much of a run game at all. I mean, they have a bunch of running backs, but you don't think about the Ravens and say, oh, they're going to hand the ball off to Terrence West and these guys and Danny Woodhead consistently. Joe Flacco seems to sneak up, whether it's week 1 or throughout the whole season, and somehow sneaks into the top 10, and he's got to perform well at some point to get it done. So I would go with Joe Flacco. I don't know. I like he can sling the ball. When he wants to, he can.
Yeah, I think Brian Hoyer's a good option.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know the Panthers. Some people are scared of the Panthers' defense. I don't know. I think they're okay. They're getting better, I guess, since their decline last year. But I don't know. It just seems like he's very comfortable in Shanahan's offense right now. He got a really good look at it last Sunday night against the Vikings. He looks very comfortable with Pierre Garçon. I think he's another guy that you could probably get away with week 1 playing and playing confidently, I think. So I think that's 2 pretty good options, Flacco and Brian Hoyer. Again, these rankings will be up on the website. You can take a look at them. Now, what we're going to do is do our game picks here, okay? So basically what we're going to do, I'm going to keep a running tally of this. Just predict the winners of each game.
Yep.
Keep track of it, and at the end of the season, whoever wins gets something, whatever. All right, so we'll go through it. I will keep track of it here on my phone. So first game, Chiefs and Patriots.
And can you give me the spreads just for curiosity?
Sure. Patriots are favored by 9.
By 9 at this point. Okay.
Yeah, at home.
I'm going to say that the Patriots win.
I'm
pretty confident in that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
the Patriots. I think it might be a little bit closer than people think it's going to be. I know you said earlier that it's not going to be a blowout. That 9-point spread tells me that it might be a blowout.
I mean,
but,
I don't.
I don't know. They're going to win. The Patriots should win. If they don't win, I'll be very surprised.
The one thing I will say is that the Chiefs seem to start out very slow every year, at least in the recent years. But nonetheless, they're.
Yeah, Patriots.
Yeah.
Eagles and Redskins. No, don't. We'll do that last. We'll do Eagles and Redskins last. Jets and Bills. The Jets are at the Bills. Buffalo's favored by 9.5.
And I believe is Nathan Peterman or Tyrod Taylor starting? Do you know that?
I don't care.
You don't care.
Nope,
okay.
Don't care.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Bills.
I don't know how you can possibly pick the Jets.
No, I mean, I wouldn't.
You could pick the Jets.
I wouldn't pick the Jets, but I have to say, like,
Jets.
if you're gonna start a backup quarterback, and not Nathan Peterman evidently looked pretty good, but I mean, it definitely leans a little bit more towards the Jets if you're playing with a guy with no experience.
Tyrod Taylor's questionable right now.
Yeah,
so I'm
going to go with the Bills regardless.
But I'm going to say with the Bills.
Yeah.
Falcons and Bears.
I'm going to go with the Falcons. The Bears might be able to play well, but probably not good enough.
Ravens and Bengals. Cincinnati's at home favored by 3.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I am too. Bengals and Bengals. All right, so let's see if we can get a switch here. Browns and Steelers.
I think the Steelers.
Yeah.
Win. Yeah. You want to say the Browns, but
No, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, like you want to see an underdog kind of win sometimes, but I don't know.
Cardinals and Lions. Cardinals are at Detroit. The Cardinals are favored by 2.
I think the Lions win that. I'm actually surprised that the Cardinals are favored, to be honest with you.
I'm actually going to go with the Cardinals in that game. I just think I know last week I said I wasn't high on the Cardinals, and I'm not. I think the Lions are really inconsistent.
Yeah,
for some reason, I just like the Cardinals' defense against Detroit.
Just this week. Yeah, it's understandable.
Jags and the Texans. Texans favored by 4.5 at home.
Whew. See,
I'm going with the Texans.
I'm gonna go with the Texans.
And the reason is because of Blake Bortles.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like I
don't think the Texans will
win.
Win the game. I think the Jaguars
will
lose it.
might lose it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It should be close the whole game, but I just think Bortles is going to turn the ball over.
The Texans are not going to put up a great deal of points. They can't. I mean, Tom Savage.
They really can't.
They can't. They don't have that offense. But
Raiders and Titans. Titans are favored by 2 points at home.
Ooh, that's a good game. I'm going to go with the Raiders though.
I'm going to go with the Titans.
The Titans.
I really thought the Raiders are going to be favored, but they're not. And for some reason, I just think that's a tell, and I like the Titans now.
A lot of people are very high on
the
Titans.
We said this last week. One of the magazines said they're 12-4.
Yeah.
I don't see 12-4. Like I said, I could see them winning the division. I don't think they will. I think they lose a tiebreaker to Houston. But 12-4 is a stretch for the team, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know what anyone's has seen as in Marcus Mariota to say, oh, he's a 12-1 quarterback. I don't see it.
Yeah, like he had a good statistical season last year, but I mean, winning, I wouldn't say that it was that impressive.
Colts at the Rams.
Scott Tolzien is playing. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Yeah, me too. Just because Scott Tolzien's playing.
Yeah.
If Luck was playing, I'd probably go with the Colts.
Yeah.
I'd still be tempted to go with the Rams because I don't like the Colts at all. But
I think the Rams are.
Here's a good one. This is I believe this is the game of the week. Packers and Seahawks.
Yeah, that's.
Packers are favored by 3 at home.
Packers are favored by. I'm gonna go with the Packers. Lambeau, tough environment.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Packers as well. Seahawks have been kind of like a.
Yeah, I mean,
they've been a good team of late, like the past couple of years, but they haven't been.
Is it weird? Like, I don't see them as that dominant.
Not anymore.
No, I don't see.
Not anymore.
I used to see them as a dominant force.
Like a lock win.
Yeah, now they're just like, I know they're good, but they're really not. They're not good enough to like easily take it all away. Yeah.
Panthers and Niners. Carolina's on the road, favored by 5.5.
See, this is where I kind of want to feel the Brian Hoyer hype here and let him run, but I'm actually I'm gonna go the Niners.
All right.
I'm gonna go the Niners.
I'll go with the Panthers. I think the Niners will. I think they might get 5 or 6 wins, but not week 1. Giants Cowboys Sunday Night Football. Dallas at home, favored by 4. Zeke will play.
Ezekiel Elliott is playing. The Dallas Cowboys win the game.
Yep, I agree. I think it's a good one. I think it's a very good game.
Yeah. Oh, God, those games always are. It's not. It doesn't even matter.
It might come down to a last possession. Might go to overtime, something like that. But I think the Cowboys pulled out 2 games Monday night. Saints and Vikings. Vikings at home, favored by 3.5.
I think the Saints win that game.
Do you?
I think the Saints are just the better. I know the Saints defense is not very good, but the Minnesota Vikings offense is also not very good.
No, it's not. But I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Fair enough.
I like their defense. And the last game of the week, Chargers and Broncos. Broncos at home, favored by 3.5.
See, that's a tough one. Who was favored?
Broncos by 3.5.
Broncos.
I'm going with Chargers.
I think I'm going to go with the Chargers too.
I'm high on the Chargers this year.
This guy is actually my star of the week, and I think is going to be. I just have a feeling he's going to be ranked very high after week 1. Is Melvin Gordon?
Oh, he should. I mean, he's.
No. I mean, he's his top running back, of course, but I think he's going to outperform his peers in a sense. He's my guy who I think is going to be a great week this week.
Gotcha. All right, so there you go. Those picks. We'll keep track of them every week.
And the Eagles game.
Oh, never mind. Forgot about the Eagles game. Eagles and Redskins.
Eagles.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles as well. All right. So, like I said, there's the picks there. If you think we're stupid or whatever, comment and say that These teams, your
fine.
guys' predictions are terrible. Whatever. Just interact. We don't really care. Interact. Whatever you want to do. All right. So a couple more segments left. Not going to be too long here. This next one is called Bold Prediction. So every week we're just going to make a bold prediction. It could be about anything. It could be football, fantasy, another sport. It could be about whatever. Music? I don't care. Did you come up with a bold prediction?
I'm gonna let you go first.
All right, I have one. It could be 6 months from now. My bold prediction is not football. I'm gonna say that this is for baseball, the playoffs, because I love the MLB postseason. There's still about 35 games left.
Yeah.
But my prediction right now, as of September 5th, is that the American League Championship Series (ALCS) will be Red Sox Yankees, and the NLCS will be Cubs Nationals.
Interesting. Do you have a winner? Do you think he's going to win for this?
Yeah, I think it'll be Red Sox and Cubs.
Wow.
I think the Red Sox win.
That would be pretty historical type of...
I said Red Sox win.
Red Sox win.
Yeah, September 5th, I'm saying it. Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Nationals, Red Sox beat the Cubs.
Yes.
World Series.
Assuming they'll be stealing the Cubs signs with an Apple Watch. Did you not see that report?
No, what happened?
Yeah, it was reported today that they admitted to stealing the other team's signs with technology of some sort. I was heard that it was some type of Apple Watch.
Teams up in Boston.
I don't know what they got. They're cheating up there, but.
All right, well, go ahead. What's your bold prediction?
See, I didn't come up with anything.
Way to be prepared. Well, if you want to say Melvin Gordon will be the first number 1 ranked fantasy running back after week 1, we can call that a good one.
Oh, I know what this. I'll go with this.
Okay.
I'm going to say that Ezekiel Elliott will not be. He will play all year.
Okay, that's a good one.
I'm going to say that Ezekiel Elliott will remain unsuspended for the remainder of this season.
Okay. All right, we'll go with that. All right. Last thing I'm going to leave you with here before we close it is DraftKings. A little bit, just a minute or so. I know you don't play DraftKings.
I know.
But I just a couple must plays I think this week that you got to have in your lineup. AJ Green is definitely one of them. He always kills the Ravens. I think you got to play him. I think if you're quarterback and you want to go high on a quarterback and draft high on one and spend a lot of money on one, Matt Ryan against the Bears I think is a good one. If you want some value at quarterback and you want to go a little bit lower, Brian Hoyer I think might be a good one. Joe Flacco could be a good one, as you said earlier. If you're looking for a waiver wire pickup. Another must-have I think you got to have in your lineup this weekend on Sunday is running back. I think Devontae Freeman is a big one. I really don't think it's a gut feeling. I don't think Tevin Coleman's going to be used as much as he was last year, and I think Devontae Freeman absolutely kills it this year. So I think he's, especially against the Bears, they should be up. They should run the ball. I think Devontae Freeman will kill it this week. So guy you got to have in there. Low level player I think you should look at to get some value is Pierre Garçon. There's no really other threat in San Francisco at receiver, and Brian Hoyer seems to be connecting with him a lot. So I'd probably go after Pierre Garçon if you want to get some value. Play around with some of the lineups. Again, that $1 billion contest, go for it.
Yeah, I might have to start playing.
Why not? Just do it. You know what I mean?
Free,
if you hit, you never have to work a day in your life. So it's free entry. You sign up. You do it for free. You never have to play again if you don't win. So that's it. We're going to close it down. This podcast, once it's up, you can go to the website. Again, the website, roforoyalty.wordpress.com. You go right to it. You can see the rankings. It's laid out perfectly for you. You can see our predictions, everything like that. Follow it on Twitter at roforoyalty. Follow me on Twitter. Again, my name is Kristian DeLuzio, at Deluz2993. Follow Justin on Twitter, at JustDeLuzio. We will do this again next week, release week 2, go over week 1, give our predictions for week 2. And happy football Thursday night, 2 nights from now, or actually tomorrow night.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. It's going to be great.
No, I really can't.
All right, we'll close it down. Peace.